Uh, uh, I'll see you on the other side of this. Bye, guys. One sec. I just need to now. I need to get the go ahead from the organizers to start, and we'll start. But yeah, the chat is now closed. Yeah, I need to close more chat. There's chat everywhere. I guess we can just maybe try starting and see where it leads us. Maybe that's the way to go, because David Martinez is not answering, so we could just do this and see if the reply comes. Yeah, that works. Okay, so yeah, I was kind of, intending to check what happens if I try the open, but yeah, now that I've established that everybody and their dog are actually playing the open, I am going to be doing something else. Surya did not actually play 1e4 against Mustafa. There were a lot of what are they called? Um, enhanced Steinitzes and things. Yeah, this line you are very, very much advised to actually repeat before the game. There's really no way I should be playing this without preparation, which is what I am now attempting to do. Uh, it's a very, very stupid idea. This is an incredibly concrete line which uh, you will get severely punished in if you don't remember exactly what you're supposed to do. Like it's not something you are ever supposed to play without significant preparation. I'm just pretending I've repeated it before the game basically here. I don't think anybody believes me, but it's a good first try, and then we'll switch to something else. Probably just not 1e4 because I don't like 5d3 as an option. Surya, actually, that's a lie. Surya was playing the Italian against Mustafa. Yeah, I think a5 is kind of critical here. I think it actually works out for black, which is kind of annoying. I mean, I have 94, but then there's some tactics there, which I obviously don't remember. Like 94 c5 e6, I think, is sort of a point here. I'm pretty sure I've seen this position before, but like I have only really, really vague memories of what the file says. Most of us have seen most of these positions before, is my point. I mean, this line has been, such a huge feature of white's players' lives on the white side. Yeah, I think you're actually even supposed to play g5 here. This could still actually be my game against Shahriar Mamidyarov from Reykjavik, which would be particularly stupid if that is the case. I want to play 6, but I don't quite understand why that would be a good idea. It's just a move that is very attractive, sort of on aesthetic grounds more than anything else, but I don't quite see why that works. There are, very many things here which look very, attacking and exciting, but probably none of them actually work out particularly well. Yeah, g5 is an important move. I'm pretty sure this is actually still my game against Shah. which is, yeah, I should not have played this in this case. It's just stupid. Really want to, like, bluff with something. There's a number of semi-attractive bluffs here which sort of work. It leads to a forced draw, but the problem is I don't quite remember how. And it is possible to actually become worse here if you are not very precise, which is, you know, something I would like to avoid. And the clock is ticking down. Maybe I'm supposed to play before or something. Yeah, like it's just... I'll go for one of those bluffs just for, like, for no reason whatsoever. This probably loses, but... I mean, this is clearly incorrect, but I just want to try something. Also, it should come as a surprise because it's just so rubbish. Like, it's clearly not the way to go in this position. Like, there's no way this works against a good reply from my opponent here. But I'm probably, like, my estimation is I am not very far. Well, actually, I am very far from a draw here because, yeah, c5 was maybe even more painful than this. This is also painful, but c5 was probably an even larger problem. I'm sort of banking on the fact that I have one pawn for the piece here. I'm sort of threatening e6. The king is not very safe, and if I take on f4, I have sort of long-term compensation for the piece. None of this is like full compensation ever, but it's not lost. And if I could remember exactly how to make the forest draw I was referring to after g5, I would have done it, because I like starting with a loss with white is not something I'm particularly looking forward to, but yeah, I think we can just take. We're in no particular hurry here, just playing patiently. I can still play e6 next move. Now it looks like... No, queen g5, king h8 is not a draw, but we could bring more pieces in, right? Like rook e3, g3. Yeah, this is sort of why I went for this line. It definitely, you know, creates situations where it's possible for the black player to, you know, become frightened, and queen g4 just wins on the spot, right? Pretty much. f5 and then, well, any move. I guess knight takes f5 is the simplest. Queen g7 wins, but I kind of prefer to win with more pieces on the board, like I'm giving mate here. Turned out to be a good semi-bluff. Like, this is... Don't try this at home. This is not good. But it will end up being okay. This is clever, but we can, if we... Like, knight g7, rook g6 is his point, which is a clever point, but... I mean, I can, if I need to, just liquidate into this endgame, which is, I mean, not very unclear. It's just, yeah, not a particularly unclear endgame. Okay, I need to copy-paste links now. Copy, paste, and adjust the scores. Hang on. Yeah, I have no idea what is expected of me in the Grunfeld, but I will, for now, play my own openings and see what transpires. Like, it's probably not the brightest idea in the world, just to play my own repertoire. I probably will switch to something else from game 2 onward. Bishop b2. Not sure about this, honestly. Let's just play normally, like I don't really... okay, so this is the the big point. He will be like playing d5 as early as possible there. If I take bishop b7, take e6 is sort of playable, but not great. Yeah, I think like the indication after the first couple of games already is that I should be mixing things up a lot more opening wise. This is not going to be very enjoyable if I just play my own stuff. Probably d5 is actually still quite strong here, but we can take, and those structures aren't. This is smart. I like this. This is actually going to be very, very scary. You can very easily get mated in positions like this. I very much like the intent here by my young opponent. The knight kind of needs to be on f5 not to get mated, but it feels very slow. I'm wondering if I can afford to play h6, but queen d2 looks crushingly strong. It just, honestly, it looks bad for me already. I don't quite know what I'm expected to do here. I think I need to find a way maybe to take with the f pawn, but that also looks horrible. And even h5, h6 kind of maroons this bishop on g7. This has been a disaster. Can I afford to play h5 and not get mated somehow? I don't really see how. Yeah, I'm being sort of conclusively outplayed opening wise so far. I mean, h6 is strategically winning, and hg6 probably is mate. Both of those things worry me a great deal. Fg and ig5 we kind of lose on the spot, and hg, queen d2, and then bishop g5, bishop f6. Like I think this is mildly preferable if we compare those two really, really poor outcomes, but yeah, both of those things are like unbelievably bad for me. Bishop g5 immediately. Like I'm very tempted to go f6 straight away just to have, you know, what passes for counterplay these days. Like it's still horrible, but at least now I have, you know, something to look forward to. I have the f file. I have the knight on f5. Maybe I can go like, I don't know, queen e7, queen g7 to solidify. And I've covered most immediate entrance squares. The white center is also under a little bit of pressure. This is clever because rook f7, knight g5 is singularly unattractive. Is it though? Maybe we can afford to do it. Knight e5 also exists, but it's an endgame, and we definitely want an endgame here. Because we're getting mated in the middle game, so like we definitely want the queens off. And I mean, going knight f5 is the dream here. Also, in some positions, rook h7 might be a useful move. Let's say if he goes queen d2 here, something like rook h7 could be a useful way to put a spanner in the works. But yeah, this is very, very quickly becoming, you know, a huge advertisement for not playing the Grunfeld if you're not prepared to enter the main theoretical lines, which I didn't really feel like doing, and I am now being punished for it. I obviously, you know, I know how to not get this position with black after bishop e3, but I did not really want to play those absolute main lines there. And I kind of, some kind of morbid curiosity made me, you know, want to check, you know, just how bad it will be if I enter the sidelines here. My intention here was to do this. I thought this was very smart. I mean, queen b3 kind of worries me, but I can go queen d5. I think it's an annoying move for my opponent to face, because now knight f5 is a significant threat positionally. I mean, not just positionally, also tactically. Yeah, this could become very unclear. Bishop c4 I missed, but I do have, you know, queen d1, bishop d5, for instance, as a reply. Bishop g4. It might actually be possible to play king f7, I think. Because I think giving me a check from the f-file is going to be more difficult than it looks. Should also be playing faster. Yeah, let's just go with my gut. I think like it's very risky to play like this, but if it doesn't get punished immediately, I think it's the right move. So I'll go with my instinct. Queen e2, queen h8, like although queen h8 is just such an ugly move, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Yeah, like with the queens on. I think I'm probably overreaching there. Yeah, I didn't think this was mate. I thought I could run away. I missed rook d1, but I still don't think this is mate. Rook d7 though, yeah, queen c6. Rook e7 and bishop g5 check wins. God damn it. Yeah. Should have gone king g8. Actually, I think I was fine until then, but yeah, now we're most assuredly not fine. Oh, that was a throw. That was me. Whoa, why? No. Now we might actually have a chance. Like, e6 was winning on the spot. I think my opponent thought the rook on a8 was hanging, which it isn't. Did I blunder mate? I didn't quite blunder mate, but it's a close run thing. It's very close to mate, actually. Rook e7. I shouldn't have played bishop d5. I'm now trying to kind of rethrow this game, which is unnecessary. I would prefer not to. Like, I was given a huge second lease on life, and I'm now attempting to say no thank you to it, which is very, very stupid. Amazingly, I'm sort of still alive. He goes like bishop b3. I think I go g5, or bishop h6. I still go g5, I think. I need the g6 square for my king. King f2, I guess, but there is no mate in one threat. So we can go rook h8. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. I might be fine. Like, I might be, I might begin playing for a win here, for all we know. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be very, very heisty. Rook e7, king g3. I mean, I'm actually kind of giving mate here, which is bizarre. Yeah, like I should have been nowhere near this game after I blundered rook takes e7. But I'll obviously take it. And I think we're done with the open. We're not playing the open anymore. We're playing kind of anything else. Just sort of chess moves. I think I'm supposed to just play e4 here and play that position. Although, like, my recent foray into this structure wasn't very edifying, honestly, but I played it really, really poorly. I can definitely improve on how I played that particular game.
Get a done 88 just subscribed.
Thanks for the sub. I'll get to that in a moment. But generally, yeah, this is not what I should be aiming for, because yeah, these positions are A, very, very unclear, and B, I suspect most people have more experience in them than I do, including judging by the speed with which he plays my opponent. So I'm giving him what is like a good position, also not just a good position, but a good position he is reasonably well acquainted with, which is not the best combo in the world. Kind of want to push d4 here, but I don't think it's possible yet. I could go knight b3 and kind of ask the question. Queen b6 though. What happens if I do push d4? He takes on b4. Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. Knight of 193 is slow and also sort of not very topical, and I think a6, a5 is already a problem. Yeah. Being worse out of the opening in every single game seems to be the theme of today's session. It's not going to be very enjoyable if I do that. Kind of wondering how I'm even supposed to meet the threat of a6, a5. I don't quite see it, honestly. I found a bluff, so I'm gonna go with it. I found a kind of a weird bluff. One weird bluff already worked today, so I'm going to go with one more. This one is, I think, riskier, honestly. Like the first one, the one in the open Spanish, I could sort of get behind on a more kind of conceptual level because there was definitely play against the black king and so on. Whereas here, I am mainly just pretending. I don't think this, like, I find it very, very hard to believe this can work on, you know, on any kind of a... Yeah, this is just bad. Like, while we were talking, I figured out why it was bad, but it's way too late for me to turn back. There's really no turning back available. A5, like my plan was to go d4, d5 in this position and bluff. I can go bishop takes, maybe bishop takes before, and just play is not as bad as I originally thought. Like, it's not good, but maybe it's like a saner option. Takes, d5, e5, no. Takes, yeah, I can't just go d5 and make this bishop alive again. It's just not a thing that can happen if I want to stay alive in this game. d5, even the immediate bishop d7 here is very scary. I still feel like I need to play this, but this is just like completely incorrect. Even more incorrect than what I've done in game one. Bishop a1, queen a1, knight c2 is what I missed. And like the game sort of continues there, but you know, very, very tenuously. So I have to go d takes e6 here and pretend that we are breaking up something on the king side, and then we have some play, which, like, we sort of do, but bishop h3 or something. Like, I have some compensation, but it's obviously, you know, a huge speculation. Like, this is not really expected to work under any kind of normal conditions. And like, even if bishop e6 lands, which it probably does now, black can just play like queen f6, rook e6, bishop e6, rook e8, and give me the exchange back, and I'm sort of lost anyway. There is not enough play there at all. The inclusion of a4 like forces me to play queen b1, but I don't know if it's great because the knight on b4 is going to be slightly loose. Don't know. If he does go queen f6 here, I have the option. Okay. Let's start with knight f3, I guess. Knight f3, queen f6, though, is kind of annoying. Do we have any smarter options here? Maybe rook e2 is smarter a little bit. Probably not, though. Queen f6, king g2, he goes. Actually, even queen takes f3 is pretty much winning. So yeah, I'm in trouble here. I think queen f6 more or less wins by force if he plays correctly. I don't see how I can continue there. I can go bishop g2, but this is just so miserable. There's no way I can I can go queen. Hang on a second. Queen f6. I have bishop e6, which is a significant improvement over what I was expected to play. Can I include bishop takes before here without losing? I think I can, right? Just to spoil the structure and make sure I never blunder any kind of knight d3 bullshit. I mean, this is still bad, but um, it's sort of less bad than it was previously, I would say. I don't know if I was supposed to play rook takes c3 there. It was an option, just to kind of confuse him. But with my pieces completely pinned to the f file, I didn't think it was a good option. Just an option. I didn't think I needed to do that just yet. We can definitely try to confuse things a little bit here because it's not that easy for him to push b3. Like obviously, if that pawn crosses the before b3 threshold, we are done for. But it's actually not that easy to do because we are kind of controlling those squares. h5 g8 knight d4 I thought was quite clever, and I keep on lucking out. Like this is upsetting to me, honestly. This is not, although like mainly I think I am just playing openings at the very, very poor level, and my play once the openings are done has not been that abysmal. And yeah, no more Grunfelds. No more Grunfelds. I don't know if the Pirtz is actually an improvement, but if he goes bishop d3, I suspect it is. We just get a playable position and play it. Can I go c5 here? I assume I can, right? I mean, b6 probably loses to e5, so if I want to play a slower game, but maybe I don't want to play a slower game, let's just invite him to play g5 and go from there. Yeah, I don't know. Like, once again, this is, like, clearly incorrect. I knew I was supposed to take c takes d4 there. I don't know why I didn't. Also, this is a horrible, horrible move. I was planning to play e6 instead and didn't for no real reason. I'm very, very bemused by what I've done so far in this game. Like, none of this was planned. Like, none of this makes any sense whatsoever. Bishop g5. Not what I expected. I don't know why it went to this square, but I mean, it's not a bad move. Let's sort of take the bait here. And yeah, like this is horrible, but I think it's the best I have. And now white has a variety of options to punish. I think the cleanest one is just to play a5 here and then open the queen side with b4 and go from there. Like, why do I insist on giving a very strong player such huge opening odds is beyond me. I really don't have the answer to that question. I really, really don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I mean, I know Mustafa. I respect him as a player. Like, you know, this is not me trying to prove that I can play anything. This is me like genuinely not being able, you know, trying quite hard and not being able to get a playable position out of the opening with either color. Yeah, this is kind of bad. But I will say that this is an improvement compared to what I assumed my position will be in this game by move 17, honestly, after I allowed c4 and then a4. I really assumed I will be kind of close to lost, and I don't think I am anymore. I think I'm probably somewhat worse, but like this is now a playable position. I really, really disagree with the choice of d takes e6 here. I think a5 was supposed to be played. Rook a d1, yeah, my plan was to go queen e8 here. Let me just double check that I don't lose any material if I do that. Would be kind of embarrassing if I blunder some tactics there, but I think knight d5 I have decent replies. I mean, if it loses, it loses. I still want to make this move because I need to continue attacking the pawn on e4 so that if he takes on d6 at any point, I can win the e4 pawn back. Knight d5, the intention is to take with the bishop, and if he takes with the c pawn, I think I have knight takes e4, because otherwise knight c7 is a large threat. Also, maybe I can go knight d5, rook c8, just stopping knight c7 sort of mechanically, and then continuing to attack the pawn on e4 could also be an option. Actually, like knight d5, knight d5, e d5, rook e2, queen d3, I don't quite like, so I will go with rook c8. I think it keeps more of a tension in the position, and I don't see any immediate refutation, so I'm kind of reasonably confident this is a move I can play, and sort of pass the question back to my opponent if he sees the refutation. I currently don't actually see the refutation. Rook e1 I was expecting, but I think I can take twice. I don't think it loses to anything. And once again, I'm just gonna trust my gut on this, because so far my head was actually like it's been working to a large degree so far in this stream. So I think I'm supposed to just trust my calculations today more than I normally would. Bishop takes d6 is still kind of annoying here without letting the queen out, but I think I can go queen e6 once again. Like I could be missing something very important there, but so far I don't see how I lose. And I'm a minute up on the clock somehow. Yeah, I think I'll just go queen e6 and once again say, your turn, as they say in Trollden videos. Your turn. Yeah, this is very sensible by Mustafa, but I think I can go for, like in particular against 27 seconds, I feel like I should be going for maximum confusion. Rook e1 is a threat though, as I now realize. I want to go knight f6, but rook e1 is like a genuinely unpleasant threat right now. So I'll start by dealing with that as best we can. Yeah, this endgame is not fun, but because I have knight f6, knight e4, it's not as horrible as it might look at first glance. And also, if the rook goes somewhere, rook d8 is kind of an annoying pin. Like rook d1, rook d8 is going to be bugging my opponent quite a bit. He might actually have to go rook e5 here, for all we know, which is not an easy move to make on 4 seconds. And I have an immediate draw with knight e8, which is, you know, considering the match situation, I might be interested in that. I don't think I have anything better. I think we're just taking this draw now. It's a good practical result considering how poorly I stood out of the opening in this game. Obviously against 5 seconds there will be people wondering why I'm not making more of an effort to flag, but I think sort of respecting the position has, you know, served me well so far, and it makes sense to stick with this approach. Just, you know, sort of disregarding what the clock says and just playing the position fairly. I think this is like the current thinking about this. Bishop b5 used to be the main line there, but I think this now is supposed to be slightly better because the bishop on b5 very often has to return to e2 anyway, so we are hoping to get like a normal position you would get there, but with an extra tempo pretty much. It's not going to be, you know, winning for white or anything, but a tempo is an important thing. Like knight d4, bishop d4, queen d6 is extremely strong here with the bishop still on b5. In this position, it will still be very playable for black, of course, but it's a lot easier for white to handle having the tempo. The immediate queen d6 also exists, but once again, the fact that I will have the threat of knight b5, the moment I parry the obvious queen takes h2 mate threat, makes me a lot happier about my prospects. Queen d6, knight f3, knight g4 exists, but then we can go g3. I guess queen h6. I mean, it still is sort of scary. I mean, rook e8. I'm very happy to see this because it kind of signals that the phase of the game where my opponent was just all out trying to give me mate has now passed, and we can start building towards like a safe-ish. Maybe that was a mistake, actually. Maybe that was clever by Mustafa, because after knight f3, bishop g4 now, I will no longer have the threat of bishop b5, which I would have otherwise. We could just go g3, honestly. I think like the normal counterplay is the bishop bishop a4, like rook c7, bishop f6, knight f3. I mean, I have compensation, but it's not stellar. It's not stellar at all. Yeah, this may have been misplayed a little bit by me, honestly. Knight e4 is now playable. I'm kind of hoping for bishop h3 here, because I'm planning to do this. I think this is very clearly a correct exchange sacrifice, where we're forcing him to take with the g-pawn, and then we go knight d4, knight f5, and we generate a tremendous amount of activity straight away. Like, it could just be bad for black, honestly. This attack is very, very powerful. Queen h5, bishop d3 type things start happening here. Like, it's just scary for black, honestly. Really scary. Might be outright bad. Like, you have to go like king h8, bishop d3, rook e5, but then after queen h4, like, it remains unbelievably scary to play. And like, we are not risking anything at all. Like, white never runs any risks whatsoever here, I feel, with this knight on f5. Like, it's never going to be weaker than a rook in a million years. And if he doesn't move king h8, knight e7 is like mate in 3, so it's time to go king h8, Mustafa. But yeah, now it's just very difficult to make moves. Bishop d8, I even have rook c7. I don't know if it's very strong, but it's an attractive move to make. Like, it's a cute little move, which, I mean, also has the advantage, I think, of being quite strong. If he takes, I have knight h6 check there in the end, which more or less wins the game on the spot. So, but he might not have anything better, because I think currently I'm threatening knight d6. Like, in this position, I think knight d6, knight d6 f5 though. Yeah, I didn't see f5. But we could just go rook d7 for one move and like continue asking questions. And like knight d4 is now a threat as well. Everything is a threat. Queen e8. Oh, yeah, queen e8 I sort of missed, but like, there's a number of things here which should be winning. I don't know why I allowed this, honestly. It was probably cleaner to take on b7 on the previous move, honestly. Knight d6 f5, rook takes d8 was winning material, but I wanted to Like it's just impossible to play this position with black. Like the main issue here is that like this position never improves. Yeah. Rook f7 is probably just mate, right? I don't really need to take with the knight. I think this is a very, very short and sweet match then. I didn't expect it to go this well, honestly, but I think apart from the absolutely horrible openings, I played a lot better today. I was more on point today than I was yesterday. So yeah, that probably is it for. I'll check the score, but I'm pretty sure it is 4.5/2. This means I will play the finals tomorrow against the winner of David Howell against. Let me actually check. I checked already and then I forgot. How stupid is that? Against. Hang on a second. Is it not too, like, is it longer? It appears to be longer. Hang on. Do we have to play more? I thought it was to 4.5, but maybe I'm wrong. Hang on a second. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm guessing it's to 6.5 maybe. So I'm celebrating a little bit too early. Once again, not knowing the rules of the competition I'm involved in is very on brand. Very, very on brand. Yeah, Howell against Lagarde. The other Maxim, but yeah, looks like the game is not starting because perhaps Mustafa is also unaware that there's more games to play, but I guess we'll figure it out eventually. I wonder how long is the final if this is best of 12. And now everything is silent and the game is not starting. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Oh no, apparently I did win. Very nice to like be very, very confused by what happened in your own match, but apparently I just got confirmation that I did win, which is a little bit weird because the page for the tournament on Chess24 appears to be for a 12-game match, but yeah, who knows? Okay, with this information, I can get the chat back up, I guess. Where's my chat? There you are, guys. There you are. Welcome back. Let me see what I'm missing. So this I assume I can close. Okay. It's if it was 4/4, then it would get prolonged until 12. Fair enough. Shh, everyone be quiet. He's bad. Hey, he's back. Yeah. Imagine reading rules. Yeah. You know me, Crane. I never read. I've never read a poker book in my life, and I haven't read a poker book in my life. Obviously, I haven't read anything at all in my life. So, once again, very much on brand. Peter should get a manager who tells him these kinds of stuff, says Midnight Fox. Me mana hair. I am not going to get a me mana hair. This is not something that is going to happen. So that was kind of short and sweet, and that leaves us with sort of plenty of time to either do something or actually, or perhaps not doing anything at all and having a family evening. Also, happy New Year to those of you in chat who are of that persuasion. Shanatava and things of that nature. I'm not very good at this. I'm very, very secular, but if there is somebody out there who for some reason is celebrating today, Happy New Year. Is there a schedule for a simul? No schedule as such. Simul like would be the most obvious thing to continue with here, but I don't know. I honestly don't mind the idea of just having a very short day. Could you review the... Yeah, we could just go through the games a little bit, Dracula. If I can find a way to... I guess we go into the profile and see what that does. I'm now... Oh, okay, that switches me back to the main website. Whoa, okay. So these games don't actually even register for my profile on the main website, which is kind of cute. But we can just go back and go through games one by one. So this game, as I mentioned, like this position exists in theory with the bishop on b5. Like normally, even my games exist. Like the old theory was bishop. Can I make moves here, please? Website, please. Please. No.
Oh, blimey.
Thanks very much for the 4-month.
Move 11 just resubscribed for 4 months.
Welcome to the Balloon Army. Is this what we say now? I guess it is. Appears to not allow me to analyze. So I guess what we'll do is we will balloon party, yeah? Did I say balloon army? Yeah, I am not an army type guy. Balloon party is probably slightly more on point. I just need to get these things straight in my head somehow, and I don't seem to be capable of doing that. So I guess what we should do is we should go into the Chess24 website, download all the PGNs, and then we can load them onto something. Like I could just share the chess-based screen, I assume. Watch. Hang on. This will take me a little bit of time when the screen will get completely messed up, but then we can do like a little bit of post-mortem. PGN, download PGN for the entire tournament, I guess. Open PGN. And then I guess we can get rid of these things. These things. And so the Lagarde Howl is also oh no, those are just lines. They haven't started yet. So we could just go through them one by one. Let me just get a capture going. Yeah. Okay. And just crop everything. but the board. Get rid of the board. Make this larger. I said larger. There we go. So this is game one. Like, I'm not gonna really talk about the opening because I'm pretty sure everything up until here and including g5. If you press enter here, yeah, this is like my game against Shah in which I played b4. I had the feeling that b4 is the move here, and my game against Shah went before knight c4, bishop c1, d2, bishop f5 takes, queen d5, and like this is actually a forced draw still, which we both knew, and maybe to some people, like we made this draw in like 20 minutes, and it wasn't prearranged or fixed in any way. It was just the Russian national team coaching staff gave me this file before the game and said, this is the best we have against the Open currently. If Shah knows all of these moves, he will make a draw, but we are kind of okay with you making a draw on board one because we seem to be doing fine in the tournament and we'll do fine on the other boards, which is, I think, what happened. I think we won the match with me drawing very quickly. And Shah indeed knew the entire line, so both of us like blitzed all of this out and agreed to draw. So how do I get my game back? And instead I went for this like incredibly speculative sacrifice, which no, I don't actually think I need hair implants. I do, like, if I cared about those things, I could actually like pretend I have a, like, style it somehow, but like I'm not very concerned. I don't know exactly how black wins. We could switch the engine on, but I really don't feel like just reading out the engine lines to you. My point here was that it's not very comfortable for black to protect the pawn on f4. Yeah, like bishop g5, we can go e6, and it becomes kind of awkward for black to play fe6. Maybe this is actually what he should have done, something like this, using the pin on the e file. I really suspect that, like, against best play, my position after queen e4 is between worse and lost. But just in practical terms, I thought if I do this, first of all, I still think people still kind of don't entirely believe I never know anything.
Grandpa 504 cheered Dex 100.
So, like, it's not impossible for me to bluff that this is some kind of home prep. And some people might even believe me occasionally. And secondly, as we've seen in the game, it's very possible for black to make like a couple of passive moves and suddenly be completely lost, which is what happened. Like rook e8, queen takes f4. I suspect black is still fine, but you really need to start bringing this knight on a5 back into the game. Like, I think you are supposed to start playing moves like knight c6 here, although it already looks very, very scary after knight f5. And after bishop f8, rook e3, I genuinely thought I might just be winning by this point already, which is kind of a, a very sharp change considering I thought I was lost 2 moves ago. But this was why I went for this sacrifice, because I felt that the price of the move increases like dramatically, and if Mustafa goes wrong even a little bit, he might just run into severe trouble. And yeah, by this point I'm just completely winning. Queen g4 was a nice touch. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm winning even after knight takes e6, but queen g4 using, I keep on forgetting how to draw arrows in chess base, using the fact that I'm attacking the bishop on g7 and also pinning the rook on d6 to the on e6 to the queen on d7 just ends the game basically on the spot. Where's my next game button? No, I don't actually need to save this. I just need the next game. What? No. Why are they sorted this way? Hang on. They should not be sorted this way. Yeah, then there was this Grunfeld. We can flip it. to watch it from the proper side, which, like against knight bishop e3, I've actually done some clicking recently, trying to establish what I will be recommending. Yeah, there's a full shelf of Pratchett there. I think it's actually that shelf where the Gaiman is. I have, at some point I had, I think, everything that Pratchett has ever written, but I think I've given some of them away to friends to read, and some of them did not return. So there are probably a couple missing now, but I definitely had the full collection. The Grunfeld probably gets pushed back to 2021. We're kind of discussing it with the Chessable guys, but probably, like, it's not impossible that I get it done this year, but I think both parties have come to the realization that, you know, I'm not the most diligent of workers and I should be given some leeway, which I really appreciate. It's also to do with the fact that the candidates appears to actually be restarting, so I will be very involved with Kirill starting. I mean, there's already been one Vine training camp, and there will be more, and then there will be the actual tournament. So, like, end of September, October, and the first half of November, unless FIDE plans change, has sort of been spoken for. So the schedule got pushed back a bit. I have no idea what the candidates will look like, Sleepy Mario. Like, it's just very, very difficult for me to guess. So yeah, like I can actually spout some very long forced lines in the Queen A5 variations here, but why is it not showing this? Yeah, that's bizarre that it's not showing the board. Hang on, why is the board not the right board? Yeah, okay. So instead of going Queen A5, I decided to like keep the game less theory heavy by playing castles bishop b2, b6, which I think like rook c1 and h4 does appear to be very, very strong here. Unsurprisingly, like you really cannot afford in the Grunfeld these days to play this slowly without challenging the white center properly. Do you think there's a minimum rating you'd recommend to seriously consider picking up the opening? Yeah, I kind of understand where you're coming from, Doc Whoop. It's an opening which doesn't really allow you to rely on like healthy principles very easily. I'll get to that question in a second, Yargot. It's a very concrete opening, so like the principles, if there's play based on not memorizing but understanding the concrete underlying principles, those principles often go contradict what you would be taught, like in your early life, and like the whole idea of ceding the center to your opponent and attacking it from the flanks is something that they don't really teach you very much when you're just picking the game up. No, I'm pretty sure Yargot is leveling there, and I'm assuming this comment is tongue in cheek, and I'm choosing to reply to it in that fashion. If it's actually an attempt to burn me for my lack of knowledge of openings, it's also a valid point, but I will take it slightly less kindly. But I like knowing this is a regular in this stream. I'm assuming this is somewhat tongue in cheek. So I would say 19,000 is already probably strong enough to start. But yeah, it's a challenging opening until you amass enough experience playing it so that you can start orienting yourself better in the resulting positions. But yeah, it's not something like, I don't know, the Queen's Gambit Declined, where, put pieces in the center, play healthy moves, you will be fine, is actually, a piece of advice you can give to people unironically. Addressing the question, Yargot, I'm I think the large part of that is A, I'm obviously not always very serious about not knowing the opening, but the second half of it would be I'm making a conscious effort to play new things every game I can because I'm bored, honestly, by the time you're my age and you've been playing chess professionally for the past whatever, 25, 30 years, whatever it is. Uh, in particular, online in a in an event where, the stakes exist but they aren't staggeringly high. No real shots fired in this at this event, but uh, I think it's supposed to be taken lightly. You're not supposed to try hard very much until at least in the qualification stage. Uh, I just try to play whatever and see where it leads me, and I like this approach. It's a fun approach to me. I like it more than just grimly repeating the openings I do know. So that's a major part of why I'm getting the positions I'm getting. More questions. I always try to avoid the Grunfeld as white since nobody plays it. I don't like theory. I know it's heavy on theory, but is there a line you find annoying with black that can work out without memorizing too many lines? To me, the most annoying line of the Grunfeld has actually always been the bishop e3 that we're currently looking at. Not this position, like this position is a dream. You don't always get this position with white. But bishop e3 in general, for Grunfeld players, gives you a really weird and annoying choice of... like, I suspect what you're supposed to play after bishop e3 is queen a5, queen d2, let's say, I don't know, castles, rook c1. And you're supposed to take on d2. And now knight takes d2 is a move, bishop takes d2 is also a good move here. And you're supposed to, like, grimly equalize this position with black, which is probably not impossible, but it really isn't, something that... Actually, like, the scores don't really relate to anything on the screen anymore, so I'll take them off. You normally don't play the Grunfeld to get positions like this. You play the Grunfeld to play some really disbalanced middle games, not endgames where your winning chances against a competent opponent will approach zero. So this is one choice, or you could play something like rook c1, rook d8, d5, e6, where, like, you genuinely might not equalize, and also white has a choice of some really, really sharp stuff, or once again some endgames where he will be safely better, probably not winning the game in the long run, but safely better. So yeah, for me, the knight f3, bishop e3 line has always been like my personal least favorite. But I don't know if that works for you. Like, that would be my answer, but I don't know if that is enough for you to, like, pivot towards playing this with white. What openings do you think are must know as a chess player? Nothing is a must know, but I do have, like, strongish opinions on the beneficial qualities of learning to play the open Sicilians and learning to play the Spanish properly. Both of those are, like, huge, big whales of an opening, and, like, the Spanish itself, could be broken down in, like the Zaitsev is nothing like the Open, and both of them are quite different from the Marshall and so on. So, the Spanish is so huge that it encompasses so many structures that if you make the effort of trying to understand it and trying to play it, in particular from the white side, so that you will have to learn how to deal with all those variations of that black can play against you, I think it just expands your understanding of chess in general to an unbelievable degree. And the same applies to the open Sicilians. But that, obviously, both of those things are a lot of work if you want to do it properly, because you will be, like, the body of theory there, even if you don't mean at the elite level where, you actually have to memorize a lot of very concrete things, but the body of theory in general and, like, the underlying ideas will give you a headache, but it will also make you a much better chess player long term. What do computers think of Grunfeld? Computers think most things are playable, I'm pretty sure. I think these days it's difficult to find an opening among the, the top group of openings, which the computers will just instantly say are not sound. Then you can split it into lines, and some lines will be completely sound, and in some lines you will have to work. But I'm pretty sure that most things are playable. Who are you playing in the? Hey Benji, I'm playing the winner of Howl versus Maxime Lagarde, which probably is starting soon, I assume, because I think the Chess24 guys are, very correctly planning not to have anything clash with the St. Louis Blitz. So they're probably playing now, I would assume. Not really easy clap at all. Why is the... Hang on. I'm pretty sure I did that, no? Yeah, I did that and you just decided not to use it. Weird choice. I mean, I've played something like 15 games against David Howell on Lichess, playing in those Mortazavi arenas. I think I've won one game and lost like 5. I was giving David significant odds by, I was bantering and he wasn't. But the results still speak for themselves. Like I'm being destroyed by David on Lichess. Although those tournaments I think are 3-0 and this is 3+2, which is a lot more comfortable for me. I get a lot less flagged on 3+2. But like in my mind, if I actually end up playing David in the final, this is like sort of the opposite of easy clap. I mean, I don't think I've played a single game against Maxime Lagarde, but a Frenchman whose name starts with Maxime and his surname starts with La, even Lag. I'm already scared. Who wouldn't be? So, yeah, not expecting an easy final at all. Yeah, continuing with the Grunfeld. Have you lost any games this stream? I only played 5. I lost none of those 5, but it was a short stream at main. Yeah, like somewhere around here I should be lost, or close to lost anyway. The fact that I do have the f7, f6 ideas, like my initial reaction was something like this is just mate. And then I realized I do have the move f6 where like the position gets broken up a little bit and I do have some counter, arrows. I'm not my friend as usual. I now have some pieces which make sense and his center is not iron cast. Ironclad, I guess is what I should be saying, yeah? It's more of a defect center than ironclad center here. Haha. But yeah, like my initial expectation was that I'm just completely dead somewhere around here, but maybe I wasn't. And in the game, after bishop h6, rook f7, I'm pretty sure Mustafa was planning to go knight g5, but then we both realized taking, and queen d5, bishop e7, for instance, and queen takes g2 actually gives me significant counterplay because I'm just in time to start attacking the white king side. And if he doesn't have knight g5 here, and I get to play knight f5, this is quite unclear. And after knight e5, like I think the conservative idea here is just to play something like this, honestly, like go back and play this position. But I wanted to be more adventurous, so I played rook h7. Knight f5 is once again a threat. Bishop g4, king f7. I was very worried about queen e2 with the intention of playing queen h8, queen e3 here. I still don't really know what is happening in this position. I was kind of hoping maybe I can play knight f5 here, but it looks very sketchy. After queen e2, I would have to like think long and hard about my life, and I still don't know the answer, but that was scaring me. Instead, he gave me this piece, and here I'm fairly certain I'm fine if I don't go crazy, but I did go crazy, which was unnecessary. Although maybe I'm just not fine. Maybe like the rook e7 idea was a lot stronger than I originally supposed. Because my solution during the game was I thought I could go king g8 here. Actually, maybe I could go king e8 in this position, but it still looks very, very sketchy. King g8 probably just outright loses to queen e6 check. Yeah, I mean, king h8, bishop g7 check is mate in 3 or something. And what I did miss here, I thought I completely stabilized. I'm threatening queen e4 check, I'm threatening queen e6, like I'm fine. And then this came, and if in this position he goes e6, I think I more or less resign. I don't think I can fight against the idea of bishop f6 followed by rook h8 check, but I think Mustafa just honestly thought he was winning a rook with rook h8 check, and I mean, I'm still probably lost. The fact that I won this position is kind of bizarre to me. From what I understand, you're not covering any knight f3s before move 3 in your Grunfeld. I wanted to ask for some guidance in that regard. I've tried to model my repertoire with yours, but there are still some holes. I've had some conversation with Chessable on this topic recently, Frick, so they have some ideas which I like. There was probably some bit of miscommunication to begin with, because I think when Chessable say something is a lifetime repertoire, they actually mean that this covers like the entire, like this allows you to play this opening against anything pretty much. Obviously, they're not expecting me to, teach people how to play the Grunfeld against 1e4. I'm not going to be able to do that. And there's a famous story about that, and the very young Gata Kamsky, actually, which is maybe not even apocryphal, honestly. I think Khalif told me that story ages ago, that Gata's father was very, very interested in hiring all the best coaches the Leningrad had to offer. And they hired, among others, they asked Khalifman for a training session. And the legend goes that they were basically, it's sort of along the lines of, why are you not showing my son how to play the Grunfeld against 1e4? Like, you are not a good coach, go away. Because Rustam probably at that point wasn't very knowledgeable about chess. And also saw enemies everywhere. So that was how Khalifman was, once again, according to legend, that was how Khalif got fired from the very enviable job of coaching the young Gata. Not sure if the story is true, but this is how it was told to me. Obviously, none of this reflects poorly on Gata, who was maybe like 8 at the time and was not really participating in those discussions. That's just Gata's father, who was, yeah, I don't think very many people are fans. Anyway, next game. No. Yeah, this game. Where'd you go? This game, once again, like, I can definitely, imagine myself not getting a much worse position out of the opening in this line. I can also imagine myself not playing this line altogether. I demand you teach me the Slav against 1e4, or I will cancel your stream. Cancel culture strikes again. What books do you know that focus more on chess stories like that and less on analysis and stuff? I don't know, like memoirs. Sosonko's books would be like one immediate idea that comes to my mind. I think Genna's books will be very, very light on analysis. and they will feature a lot of conversations about people as people. Yeah, and back to your question, Frick. So, like when I spoke with the Chessable people back in whatever it was, May and June, uh, we were speaking specifically about me doing a Grunfeld series, and because I'm such a shrewd businessman, I obviously did not ask what exactly do you envision going into that book? Like, what do you think the table of contents will be like? And then recently I sent them like the outline of like possible chapters, and they sent me back a question whether, what did I think about the idea of actually covering all the anti-Grunfelds. And they were including things which, like the Chess 24 Grunfeld course actually includes chapters on 1c4 and chapters on one knight of 3. But the email I got went kind of wider than that even. It might happen, but then it would have to be split into, like, that is then basically like the 1d4 repertoire, even more than like the Grunfeld repertoire. So that will take some time, but it might happen, Frick. So it might happen. And for the current state of the world, like if you're looking for things to play against one knight of 3, I understand I'm, kind of plugging my own stuff here, but as Anish so aptly demonstrates every day, plugging your own stuff is very acceptable and perhaps even expected of you. So let me do a mild plug and say that the Grunfeld series on Chess24 actually do feature ideas on how to deal with knight of 3 and c4. So yeah, this game, this is actually probably all theory. We can just push enter and see. Yeah, there's like 20 games here. Has been played by Nikita Vitugov this year even. Has been played by strong players, and as you can see, players are doing very well with black here. And two brave souls actually even played d4 here, which is really not great. And yeah, we're still continuing. Like all of this has happened this year in a game where Tabatabai was playing with the black pieces. And then I kind of punted here with d5 because I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. And as I mentioned during the stream, like when I was playing d4 on move 13, my intention in this position was to play queen takes a1 and say, now your dark squares are terminally weak, sir, and you will die to that weakness. And then I realized knight c2 exists, and after queen f6, even more unpleasantly, like probably knight takes e1, bishop b2 would be a way to, very beautifully confirm that I'm a genius. But unfortunately, after queen f6, black can play something like knight c8 or maybe even knight takes d5 and make sure that we trade queens. And then in some kind of a position like this, I just resign. So I had to kind of also knight takes a3, but I think knight takes d5 is more of an immediate win, because like this position is semi-playable. Like for a Blitz game, I would say this is a playable position for white, because the black king will get weakened. Like I'm not doubting this is actually lost for white against precise play, but you can most certainly even win these positions in a Blitz game with white, whereas this one you kind of resign. Actually, you don't continue because things fall. This is hanging, and those guys will just queen as well. So, so I played d6. I think bishop g7 is correct, and knight ec6 is correct. And here, as I mentioned during the stream, if you just go bishop queen f6 here, it's very difficult for me to imagine what I'm supposed to be doing, which is not bishop e6, and then you go rook e8, and you just force me to take on f7. And black, I think, wins in the long term, because black is a pawn up. There is now no attack. The queen side is reasonably safe. Like I can play something like queen b1 and pretend that the black pieces are slightly disjointed, and it's going to take some time to actually convert. But there's really no doubt in my mind that, let's say in a classical game, black wins 9 out of 10 games starting from here. Probably the same applies to what happened in the game, but like once I got here, I started feeling like I might get away with some points out of this game. I did not expect to win it. Like I don't think it's a fair expectation for me to score a full point from here. But if you look at this position, as I said during the stream, I'm doing a pretty decent job of containing the push of the b pawn down the board here, which is how black wins this game basically. Like if I allow b3, I resign, but well, the fact that both of my pieces are attacking the bishop on c3 makes pushing b3 very difficult. And then I was very proud of this idea of pushing h4, h5, provoking a reaction, either gh or g5, and then going knight d4. Because if I go knight d4 straight away, there's a very strong reply with queen c4, which immediately makes my position probably indefensible because the queens come off. So I need to lure the pawn away from g6 before I go knight d4, so that after queen c4 I have knight f5 check, and then the queen comes in. And once we get here, I think I'm probably favored to at least not lose. Like if black plays something like king g8, which is probably the only move in the position actually, I can even just take on b4. And my king is just so much safer than his that I think in a practical game, white is playing for a win, but it's probably a draw. But of course, you know, blundering queen a7 check and blundering the rook on b8 is, you know, continuing what happened in game 2, where my opponent left himself too little time and then made some really, really unfortunate blunders. Then there was game 4, which is probably the least exciting of the games we played, where once again I played in the early ICC days. I played like an unbelievable number of games against Alexander Morozevich on the black side of this position. And the issue with this position is d5 knight d4 is kind of fun. I suspect it doesn't quite equalize, but it's kind of fun for black. It's playable. The biggest issue I have with this by now is that white can actually do this, and it's a combination of two things which I don't particularly enjoy. Like it's no longer fun at all for black, and also I don't even believe it's entirely equal. Like those two things in a combo are enough to turn, you know, any man off his stroke, so to speak. But what I did is just unbelievably stupid. Like if you go knight c6, I suspect I probably should have gone knight e5 here, honestly. White takes, I guess. We go, like we are hoping to go knight e8, knight d6, and then start pushing. Instead I played knight b8. And if you play knight b8, I think you're supposed to play e6 here. But then we get this kind of a Benoni where I think I'm like, compared to a normal Benoni, after both ed5 and actually even cd5, I'm like 2 tempi down, 3 tempi down. I don't know. I don't want to count, but it's not good. And then I think the biggest misplay that Mustafa made in this game was not playing a5 here. Just go a5, then you play queen d2, you play knight a4, you play b4. And my queen side just completely crumbles. Like there's no way the queen side stays solvent. It's not the word, but like let's use the word solvent for whatever reason. It just gets completely destroyed. Once the rook e6 happened, I started having, you know, fits of optimism. And they turned out not to be entirely misplaced, and I saved that game. And then, you know, all of this portion of the stream actually started with somebody asking me about game 5. And now we're finally coming to game 5. So whoever it was who asked me about the rook c7 move in this game, I hope you're still here. And sorry for dragging you through the first 4 games to get to here. And as I mentioned, like the old theory goes bishop b5, bishop d6, d4, castles, castles, cd4. No, not c4, of course. cd4, knight d4. And then I think the Chinese players were the first to understand that they have the option of playing bishop c7 here, which is a very, very cute idea. Very difficult to deal with as well, with the intention of playing queen d6 and generating a lot of counterplay, because black's pieces actually turn out to be very nicely aimed at the white king side. As you can see, like Dingliren played this with black, Karakin played this with black, Grishuk played this with black, if you sort by rating. Ding and Wei Yi were the first people, I think, at the very top level who started playing this. And bishop e2 is sort of specifically aimed at getting the same position with the bishop already on e2. I think recently there have been attempts to play d5, d4 here, which is like a cute, interesting idea. I'm supposed to know some theory here. I suspect I don't, but I was fine with hopefully competing on equal ground with Mustafa, because I suspected he did not expect me to play this either, so we would both know next to nothing. And in the game, yeah, like with the bishop on b5, if you imagine the same position with the bishop on b5, queen d6, knight f3, for instance, and bishop g4 is just unbelievably annoying for white. Whereas with the bishop on e2, I have the option of playing bishop e5. I can just show what the difference is actually. The difference is huge. If you look at this, bishop g4, bishop e5 just loses immediately to queen takes e5, knight takes e5, and bishop takes d1. And then white just ends up being a full piece down. Whereas here, because there's no pin along this diagonal, I actually get to trade the bishop on e5 for the bishop on c7 and play. I mean, those positions, like Vichy holds them every time with black, so they're not really bad, but considering the fact that I was 3.5 up in the match, I was very happy. I was very happy to get this. Well, you kind of decide for yourself, oozed. It might be, but then again, whoever is entirely convinced about anything these days. After rook e8, I suspect what I played is slightly indifferent, honestly. There might be stronger ways to do, like rook c1 was like a bit of an autopilot move. It worked out beautifully though. I played rook c1, he played bishop g4, I played g3. And I think black is supposed to play something like knight e4 here, specifically to stop me from doing what I did in the game. And then the threat is bishop h3, rook e1, bishop a5. This is very much something that black wants to do here. But it also gives me a tempo to maybe mount some kind of counterplay. Actually, maybe this is playable. Knight h4, bishop h3. Maybe I have this very nice idea of going bishop g4, bishop takes f1 and knight f5. And I generate some threats on the king side. Who knows? It's a kind of a fun, speculative thing I may have been interested in doing. But bishop h3 is just a huge mistake because of what I played in response. And this is what I prepared when I was playing knight f3 here. Bishop h3, I think in practical terms just flat out loses to bishop f6, bishop f1, bishop f1. Now because the bishop on c7 is hanging, you cannot take with the queen. You have to take with the pawn, and then after knight d4. I mean, the black pawns are just completely disjointed, and also the coordination is so... Like, if black already had a pawn on a6 here, I would still be very happy with my position with white, but it would be a lot more defensible. But the fact that I also am threatening a very, boring threat of knight b5, picking up the bishop on c7, means that black more or less has to go for this position, and this position is more or less indefensible, I think. As mentioned, I am now threatening this very cute idea of knight e7 check, blocking the one escape route for the king, and now it would like to go to e7, but it doesn't have that square. So king h8 is the only move. We attack the pawn on f6. If you play rook e6, I can just win material with knight d4. So rook d8, and yeah, this is a cute move, but not a very difficult move. I was happy to play it on the board, but I don't think it's all that difficult to spot. The point being that if you take, I take on f6 with check, and then I give this check. And, I mean, I guess g3, g4 actually does win on the spot. Just picking up the pawn on f5, and we continue attacking, and we're also 2 pawns up. And after rook e6, there might be some ways to win sort of by force here, but I wasn't really looking for a victory by force because, like, the position is just winning. The position is just winning regardless of, basically, as long as I don't blunder full rook. So I play rook d7, rook takes b7 is also fine. As I mentioned during the stream, you can play... Hey, thank you very much, Arturs, for the raid, and welcome to the Nikshans viewers. How'd you were solving something, right? Ah, yeah, you were solving with Badur. I would have watched that. Like, anything involving Badur is always well worth a watch. Actually, this is completely winning. I missed why, though. I saw that after f5, I can do this. This is actually just completely winning. What am I doing?
Ulan Kalufid gifted Megsons a subscription. Ulan Kalufid gifted a tier 1 sub to GM Neexons.
Thanks
they
very
have
much,
given
Ulan,
5 gift subs in the channel.
Yeah, I just went slightly crazy here because I thought after rook takes d8 I have to play queen takes d8 and then knight takes f7, but I didn't really want to put my knight on d8. I wasn't sure it's coming back, when in fact I can just take the queen here. So knight d6 was winning on the spot, which is kind of stupid of me not to realize that. But I mean, rook takes b7 doesn't spoil anything. This is the point about this position. It's kind of impossible to spoil. Black just has, you know, nothing to interact with my threats. And the game ended in a kind of a prosaic fashion with me just breaking through and giving mate on the king side. So yeah, that concludes the analysis part of the stream, and we are now faced with a decision. I think I might actually, now that I got raided though, this always happens because I honestly felt like just packing it in for the night and just having a quiet evening with my fam. Did I just say fam? Why did I say fam? Thanks very much for the five gifted
Grandpa
subs, Grandpa.
504 just gifted 5 subs.
And welcome to the balloon party to Pie the Master Pie, senilgmail.com, Grogger12, why not, and it's a neat. If we work together, we can arrange hourly raids to trap him. You know, Dodgy, I trust you on this. I think you're exactly the kind of a person who would do that to a man. Please don't, though. Yeah, let's do something. Let's not quit just yet. I'm actually kind of curious to repeat yesterday's experience and try some more. Try some more blindfold. Are you guys up for? Whoa, there's a
Ulan Kalufid gifted James Blunder a subscription. Ulan Kalufid gifted a tier 1 sub to James Blunder. They have given 6 gift subs in the channel.
TTS has gone from being completely quiet to saying way too much, but thank you very much, Ulan, for everything you're doing here, and welcome to James Blunder. Does having a family make improving as much as the other World Championship contenders difficult? Well, I don't really count myself as one of those anymore, but I think, you know, having a kind of a laser focus on just challenging for the title should be beneficial compared to, you know, I don't want to sound like I chose something, you know, better or more fulfilling. I think, you know, a large part of why I chose not to change very much in my life was me, you know, being a very inertia-driven person and not really wanting to change very much with my life. But I think it's fair to assume that somebody who does chess to the exclusion of everything else will do better than somebody who does other things as well. Did Peter realize that James Blunder is Jabava? No. Thanks for pointing that out, and welcome, Badur. And I'm a huge fan of Badur. I think you have to not have a pulse not to be a not to be a fan of Badur. That I think is the criteria there. Yeah, exactly, Arthurs. I don't know of anyone in the chess world who does not like Badur. Inertia driven is a new term. Yeah, come for the Banter Blitz, stay for the new discoveries in the beautiful English language.